Look at everybody coming. You guys are so fast. I love it. Hey, Mama Deb. Let me see. Let me get into some names here. Let me go back. Let me go back up a little bit. Here we go. I see. Okay, here we go. Brandy, rooted in sarcasm. I love it. As it McKenna. I'm gonna reverse so many times. I'm so sorry, you guys. I was trying to wait. I forgot to turn my AC on today before I left. So my house is so hot. I'm dying. Sassy, hello, love. Jess. Let me see who's America. Oh, don't do that. America almost blocked you. America, I'm gonna use this hand. Kitty Cat, TNT, Kathy, Autumn, Brittany, Jess. Hello, there's so many of you guys. I can't. There's already can't say everyone's names. There's already 600 people in here. We got here fast. Okay. Hello, welcome in. Were you guys all on the seat of your pants today? People are garbage in the house. Thank you guys so much, Nana Tina. Thank you, love. Man. Yes, yeah. Well, we're listen, we're gonna go over some things. We're gonna talk about some things. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna have a good time. Don't be bummed. Listen, actually, you know what, guys? I actually haven't even read it. You guys know I get the court docs. I never read them before I come in with you guys. So let's not be bummed yet. Let's read it, dissect it, and go over it. You know what I'm saying? And in reality, you guys, listen, this is the truth of the matter of all of it. In a custody case, in most cases, there's never a winner. You know what I'm saying? It sucks that anybody has to go through a custody case and fight for a child and or have the court dictate when you can and cannot see your child. Now, this is a case where it's absolutely, positively necessary. But yeah, custody cases they're tough. You know, yeah, it's the child that loses, and you're right. So sometimes it's just necessary. I am sure Taylor is still, in a sense, kicking herself in the butt for not having the paper back in March of 2025 signed properly or served properly, redid her signature, whatever the case may be, because then that would have been a kidnapping. It would have made this, a lot easier. But nonetheless, here we are. We'll go over everything. We'll talk about it, and we'll see what happens. So you guys got in here quick. Look, we're at 1.1K. We've only been live for literally minutes. I love you guys. You guys are the best. If you guys are not already following, please make sure you guys follow, because I'll be breaking all of this stuff down as it comes. Sometimes John pops in. Hey, Chris. John pops in and gives us what he can. And 2K for 2K. You guys have not missed a thing. Oh, hold on a second. Hey.
Hi, Angie.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
Long time.
Yeah. I saw you. So you had a little run in.
Yeah.
Yeah. You doing okay though?
I'm doing good. It's just kind of hard to move. Huh?
Oh no, go ahead. What were you saying?
Nothing. You're getting a lot of go huggies. It's fire.
Oh, that's because I'm just getting ready to. I was just getting ready to start reading some court docs. So can I? If you're on later, can I request you back and then we can talk about it?
Yeah, you let me know.
Okay, I'll message you. Okay. All right. Bye.
I'll wait on you. Bye.
Okay. All right. Bye. Interesting one. It's interesting. Listen, guys, I know, but I'm always gonna check on people. You know what I'm saying? I'm always gonna check on people. That's just in my nature. That's me. That's just who I am. Like, love it or hate it. That's me. That's the population I work with. I have to make sure he's okay. We haven't spoken in a long time. If he requested me and God forbid that, he needed advice or something and I'm the one that can give it to him and I don't, I would never live with myself. So that's just me. I got a big heart. I can't help it. Okay? I apologize. Okay. So, of course, Sammy's the what? The mother and GOAT. He does. And so we got the minute order. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about everything that happened, what's going down, what we can. I'm with you. Thank you, Brenda Lee. Listen, it's tough, right? When it's tough when I do the work that I do, and sometimes I have to pull away because you start to see the decline and it hurts your heart, and it's like, I can't. So, okay, anyways. So since you guys are, I got a nut sack on my head. Since you guys are in here, I'm going to go ahead and read this first. We'll read the minute order first. We'll dive in and talk about it. So this is the minute order for today. We don't always get a lot of information from the minute order, but we can kind of read between the lines. What did someone say? Did 2K get custody? 2K's had custody. Bree has no custody at all of baby W. 2K has 100% legal and physical custody of baby W. And he has for some time. And that will remain. So all they're going over right now is visitation. And she's had 7 days of visitation that she's choosing not to use. Okay, so court was today. Thank you. Court was today at 1:30. It says nature of proceedings, RFO/RFO, mod emergency order for custody/visitation filed by respondent on October 21st, 2025. Bree is the respondent in this case, and she filed to have her DVRO dropped, right? Because remember I told you guys yesterday, in the state of California, if you have an active DVRO, you cannot have custody of the child, not physical or legal custody. Okay, and if you guys want me to break that down, I'm happy to do that as well. So, parenting plan assessment, that's what they did today. Was that today or yesterday? Anyways, they did the evaluation assessment, right? So it goes in, like John went in with baby W, and she does yesterday. That's right, because we're going to say. So John went in with the baby. They did their assessment. Bree goes in with the baby. She does her assessment. Then she talks to each one of them individually. Okay. So the judge got that assessment today. The following parties are present for the aforementioned proceedings: John, Bree, Taylor, and Lindsay. The matter is called to hearing. The petitioner, respondent, and evaluator were all sworn to testify. So the evaluator got to testify today, which is huge. You haven't missed a thing. We just started right now, which is great. The hearing is continued as indicated below for argument and the court ruling. So once again, it's continued because it was only a half a day hearing. I kind of felt like that this was what was going to happen. They need to do this for a full day because this goes back. Remember when I miss AA. I wonder what happened to her. But remember when AA used to always say there's so much stuff going in that's not necessary for this. I feel like that's what's happening now, and that's what's holding some of this stuff up. Just my opinion. I have no idea. Pursuant to stipulations, the hearing set for 5/20/26 is changed to Trial Readiness Conference. The evidentiary hearing is continued to May 5th. I want to make this clear. I never tell you guys times of any court dates at all. I don't want the times being put in chat or even in comments. I had to delete several comments yesterday because people put the time in, because a lot of people ask. I never put the times, and this is why. Wait, what was that? Oh, is AA in here? Hi, AA. I've missed her. This is why I never put the times, because I don't want people to, try to log in and bombard and overflow the thing. I want them to be able to have their court hearing. There's people that do it for good, and then there's some people that are doing it just to fuck shit up. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I never put the time. So if you're in my comments or if people ask, just don't put the times. Okay? So May 5th, they have another hearing. The court has set the case for long cause trial on, my son's birthday, on August 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, and 28th. So they're going to have a 5-day trial. Wow. A 5-day trial. Oh, actually, no, it's only half a day each day, so it's like a 2.5-day trial. I wonder why they didn't just do full days. Just get it over with. That's crazy. So that is what that's what the minute order says, guys. That's it. The trial is going to be for everything. I mean, the DVRO is already set. The DVRO does expire August 27th. Bree is fighting to have it dismissed early, and John, I think he hasn't done it yet by paper. I'm getting confused on that. I thought he had. Someone says he hasn't, but he has to file to have it extended. Now that it's been proven, the judge has ruled that she has in fact broke her DVRO on numerous of occasions. I feel like he has a better shot at getting the DVRO extended, and it would be extended for 5 years. And at that point, again, she cannot have no custody. She can have visitation, but she cannot have custody of the baby. So, no changes, which means, what does that mean, you guys? There's no changes. So where is visitation going to be? In Texas. Visitation is going to remain in Texas. Everything is staying status quo at this time. So, is she going to actually take the time to go see baby W? Right? Santos is not to be around the child. He is not to be around baby W at all. So is she actually going to, is she going to go and see baby W without Santos? What about when she has the baby? Is she going to travel with her and the newborn, leave the newborn behind? Like, what's going to happen? Right? So I know people, and listen, prayers and my thoughts go to 2K and Mama 2K. I know this is so beyond stressful, but I think in a sense, kind of like what I said with them doing this evaluation, this is amazing. That's what they need, because this, for the first time, they're going to have somebody besides themselves or family stating what their connection is. The evaluator was able to see that, right? And we got nothing. They got it approved where the DVRO was violated. She's lucky she didn't go to jail, but it does affect her custody. So what's going to happen now? I don't think that she's going to continue to go to Texas to see baby W at all. And eventually the new baby is going to come, and I feel like baby W is going to be an afterthought. Because if she couldn't do it in her first trimester of pregnancy, what makes us think she's going to do it in her last trimester? So those are a few of my thoughts on this whole thing. I know you guys have all talked about, there's 2.5 thousand people in here, so I haven't got all the comments, but I'm going to start reading them. What do you guys think is going to happen? I'm going to scroll up just a little bit. Isn't their next court in a couple weeks now? Thank you guys for the daily heart me's. I think what it says, if I remember correctly, I can't keep all their court dates. And I think that was moved. The one in August that they originally had was moved. Let me see. Pursuant to stipulation, the hearing set for 5/20 is changed. Oh, they just changed that to a trial readiness conference. The evidentiary hearing is continued. is continued to May 5th at one. Oh, sorry, just kidding. Yes, I don't know about an August date. There were more small wins, but I hate it for 2K and W to be dragged up. Absolutely, yeah. I agree. But the small wins do, those are wins. And again, you guys, I hate to say it even as wins, because again, in a custody case, no one really wins, right? It's bad for the child. I really hoped for the longest time, I hoped and prayed that Bree would have got her shit together and become the mother that baby W deserves. But she has not taken an ounce of any of this shit seriously. None of it. She has not taken any of it seriously. She's continuing to do the same antics. Just like today. This wasn't her, this was Santos, right? But they're together. That's who you choose to be with. She is choosing Santos over her son, in a sense, right? So today, John puts up a chap snap, and it's him walking by a restaurant. He says, I'll be back spending my money here. So what does Santos do? He goes right to the same place, and he does a video standing at the same place. It's like, it's just, they have not grown or learned at all. The taco tent outside, yeah. She laughs about it like it's no. I know, she just doing the face mask. Well, she's like, oh, it's been continued, so it's da 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 da. I just can't. Did 2K win? Win what? Like, what is the question? Win what, Julie? Because again, it's like not really a win. I guess they're like small wins in a sense, right? Because it was, the judge stated she broke her DVRO on multiple occasions, and visits remain in Texas, which is huge. I still will never grasp or understand why a mother would want their 2-year-old child to have to fly every month. That doesn't make any sense to me when she's able to travel. So those are wins until the trial is done. And trial is, let me write these dates down, because this is going to come up a million times. One moment, please. I'll write these dates down in my little handy dandy notebook. Evidentiary hearing is May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. And then trial, oh no, and then stipulation is May 20th. And then trial, this is a very long custody case, you guys, is 8/24 to 28th. Now we have to go all the way to August. All the way to August. Why is there a trial, though? Why can't there just be a final order? Because that's not the way the law works, unfortunately. Like, it would be amazing if it was like that, right? But both sides have an obligation, or the court has an obligation to both sides to be able to hear everything that they need to be heard, right? So Bree's attorney has a right to ask John and Mama 2K all the questions that they need to ask. She also has the right to show proof of the things that she's done to change her situation, or whatever the case may be. Now, thus far, the only thing she has done is completed a parenting class. That's the only thing she's done thus far. To my knowledge, she still has not even turned in all of the paperwork that she was required to turn in. Now, that she may have, and we just didn't see the notice, but I don't know. So we're doing small wins till we get there. And the other thing too, I think sometimes as a judge, I think sometimes it is hard for them to, they're not going after terminating rights. I don't know why she's struggling with it. I was thinking terminating rights, but they're not. Bree has no custody. She just has visitation, and Bree voluntarily gave up her visitation. Not only did she voluntarily give up her visitation, she said that she would just, the judge ordered, I think she could have 1 or 2 15-minute FaceTime calls a week, which she chose not to do. John told her, you can call every day if you want to talk to him. 2K told her you can call every day and talk to him at a certain time. Not just willy-nilly, just whenever, but you can call every day at a certain time. And she has not done that. So she has shown time and time and time and time again, she is not ready. There is not a connection there. But the law is the law, and you have to go through the entire process in order to complete it. Once it's completed, hopefully the move-away order will be done and it'll be sent to Texas. It's frustrating. Oh, like it's frustrating. First comment, I know it's frustrating, but family court cases take years. Yeah, they take a long time. I think out here we try to get them done between 18 months and 2 years, but there has been a lot of setbacks on this one. Can someone tell me why she lost the custody? Thank you guys for the daily heart me's. Yes, Kay, she lost custody because of the DVRO. Again, in the state of California, I think other states too, but in the state of California, you cannot have any custody of your child if you have an active DVRO against the parent. So she lost it for 1 year, right? The DVRO expires in August. But yesterday, the judge ruled that she broke her DVRO multiple times. One, by the post that she put up, or the chat, or what is it called? Snapchat. Oh my God. The Snapchat that she put up on John's birthday, that was a direct message to him, which is a clear violation, right? She had a picture of John and it said happy birthday to John. And then she had a audio of him crying in the background. That was a clear violation of the DVRO, and the judge ruled and granted that that was a violation. And the other thing that violated it is if you have a DVRO, you cannot commit further acts of DV, right? And the judge ruled that she has committed several acts of DV against Santos. And so now John can file to have the DVRO granted or extended for 5 more years, and then she will not have custody for those years. So no custody, but she does have visitation. I remember what happened with Baby W yesterday and today. Oh, that comment just disappeared. Sorry, the comments are going fast, so I'll try to do my best here. Why make orders if they aren't held accountable? Which order, Christine? So what is a trial? The May 5th one is the evidentiary hearing. They'll go back over all of the evidence because now they're going to take it to trial instead of doing a settlement. See, listen, AA, if you're still in here, AA, and you want to come up, you don't have to, but if you want to come up and help explain some of this stuff, especially if I'm explaining wrong, you know you're welcome, honey, but you don't have to. They could have come to a settlement. They could have agreed to something. We were all hoping, right? Trial's expensive, yeah. I agree with you, Randy. I don't know. I don't know how. Especially if, wait, that's all the way in August, right? Trial's in August, right? Visitation remains in Texas. She's not seen him since December. So that's 8 months. It'll be 8 months that she will have gone from seeing her child, besides this 2 hours that she just had. And even in that 2 hours, that wasn't any one-on-one time. She didn't spend any quality time with him. She threw him a party. It's frustrating. Lawyer said this whole, this whole, maybe extension will cost him, at least $50K. Oh, yeah. Yeah, at least. Yeah, John has, listen, by the time they are done, John will probably spend well over $250,000. I would guess. And you know what he doesn't do? Complain about it. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That's my friend. Hey, hello, love.
Hi, it's been so long.
I know.
I've been listening. I've just been so busy that I haven't had a chance to.
I know. Let me properly introduce you because we have a lot of new people.
All right.
So for everybody who is new here, this is our lovely friend AA Law Talk. She is a practicing family law attorney in California. So it's always a blessing when she graces us with her beautiful presence and helps us answer some of these questions. Because as you guys know, A, I'm not a lawyer, and B, I don't work in California. I do more criminal side stuff, and so I do the best that I can. But it's always a blessing when she comes up and helps answer some of these questions for us.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah.
I'm happy to be here. I don't know if I'll have that many answers, but I will just say that I think that lawyer investors estimate is low for the cost. It's going to be
Yeah.
much more than that.
Yeah.
So, but I think he's just trying to give everybody an idea of like, hey, this is going to be quite pricey. So,
Yeah. And it blows my mind because Bree's not making the money that she was at one time. I like in my mind, I just can't grasp as to why a settlement wasn't, why she wouldn't do a settlement to save that money. But hey, teach their own.
yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I can't figure that out either. I don't know how she's paying that bill.
This is a good question, and this came up a lot yesterday. It says, why is she not being charged for breaking the DVRO? I don't understand. Or can that still happen?
You know, it's one of those things. I know. Okay, people don't like what
No.
my opinion on this thing. I, the thing is, okay, the police are the only people, or the DA are the only people that can charge in California, and so, to get an arrest or to get like a violation that would have repercussions like that, um it would be a situation where if she like showed up to his house and wouldn't leave, and then the police showed up and caught her there, and then she would, that would be more like on a criminal side.
Right.
But in this case, the DVRO is just kind of strange, and I've been saying that to you all for a long time. So
Mm-hmm.
the premise behind the granting of this DVRO is already a little rocky. I think it's necessary. I think it's important, and I think it's good. But those findings really just help him with his future case, and also with getting the DVRO extended. Um, he can file for contempt, which he's never done. I've talked about that before too. And I think it's strategic for him to not do it right now, because it should be more focused on W and what's going on with all of that. And in California, you have 2 years from the date well, for some violations, it's different timeline. But anyway, he has a certain time frame for which he can file contempt charges, and those are quasi criminal in California. So anyway, I guess long story longer is he hasn't really requested for it. I mean, he has, but in
Mm-hmm.
more of an informal way. The
Right.
way he's doing it, I think, is much more strategic and much better for him. But I
Right.
know that people really want to see her get in trouble. But she is getting in trouble, guys. I've said that a lot
Right.
too. I mean, she doesn't have any custody or any real valuable time. I don't think she wants it, but even if she wanted it, that's a pretty big um consequence, so.
Yeah. No, I agree, and that's kind of what I told them yesterday. Was asked that question yesterday, and I was like, he would have to, I think, go through the police department in order to do that. It was just granted yesterday that in fact she had broke it on several occasions. One being the continued abuse against Santos, and then obviously the connection with him. And I don't really think that Johnny wants to see her in jail. I think it's just he just wants the custody stuff done. And again, as long as the DVRO is there, she has no custody.
Well, I think John wants her to leave him alone, to be honest. And I think he wants
I
her to
did.
stop posting crap on the internet. And
Yeah.
I think and I think he's made that clear in most of his recent videos too, where he's
Mm-hmm.
like talking about his health stuff isn't, what you should do and all that. So I think
Right.
he's pretty clearly indicated that I mean, I don't think he's scared of her. I mean, I think
Right.
she, who knows what she could do, just because I don't think she's completely sane. But anyway, so I think there's concern
Okay.
like that, but in
Yeah.
terms of true fear, I don't think that exists. But
Yeah. I agree with you. I don't think it's a fear of like of a necessarily like a physical assault. But thank you, Mama Don. I love the first gift. Thank you, love. But again, you guys, we have to remember, right? The only reason why she did not have a kidnapping charge against her is because paperwork wasn't done. It was basically an administrative error. That is the only reason why that wasn't done. And then again, on her last visit, she took the child out of the area again. So again, I would feel that that would be kind of a lot of John's concern or John's issue is I don't even know where my child is when he's with her. And then Santos is clearly not allowed for whatever reason that they had decided, maybe not safe to be around kids. I don't know. He can't see his own daughter. He cannot be around baby W, but she continues to break that time and time and time again. So baby W going to see his mom is like it's always a rule break instead of her just wanting to be a mom and having baby W be the most important person in her life at that moment, right? She can never do it alone, ever. She's never done alone. She always has to have somebody with her. Instead of just having a bunch of random strangers around them, just spend that, like yesterday, should have been just that 2 hours with just her and baby W. And that's it. Just bond, spend that time, but she never will.
Yeah, that was pretty disheartening I saw some of those videos too, and I thought, wow, like what a mess. I will
Yeah.
say too, like a lot of people I saw online were upset that the evaluator wanted to see baby W with Bree, but I think it was such a wise move
Yeah.
because there's no way that it went well. I don't care if he was sick or not. And I
Right.
think that was the point. I think a lot of people also sort of mistook what 2K said. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but even if W was sick, I think his point in saying he was fine with me was like, yeah, so kids get sick. How you handle it is exactly what an evaluator is looking at, right? And so if you
Exactly.
can't handle that when they're so sick, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to call grandma to come early to pick them up because, or whatever it may be, even if it wasn't calling early. I mean, it's clear that there was, an issue with,
Right.
him being sick and all that. So anyway, so I know that, the point is even when a child is sick, the other parent generally should still be able to take care of them. And I think the overarching point here is that Bree can't. And I think, anyway, so.
Yeah, and no, and again, that's what I was saying. How can she when she has chose to not see him? Um, okay, you guys, I don't know what's going on in the chat. I just keep saying it. Either just stop, just ignore Ruby. She likes to come in here so she can actually learn, or just Sammy, if you can block her, that would be fab. Anyways, um, yeah, that's the whole point of the evaluation. I don't know why anybody would. The only people I can see being upset that Bree had to go in with baby W with the evaluator is people who think Bree's a great mom. Because again, I think this should have been done a long time ago. Because
Yeah,
this is the first time we finally have an outsider, somebody not connected in any way, that was able to give a completely unbiased opinion to see exactly how baby W responds with Bree and how he is with John. And I think they got that yesterday.
I feel like you and I even talked about that like
We
a
did.
long time ago. Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
I was
gosh, I want
shocked
to
it
say
wasn't
even like
done.
8 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think it is unfortunate. I think when we last talked about that, or when we talked about it initially, that I was suggesting that 2K to file for an evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
And it is kind of unfortunate that neither one of them did that, because it could have been a much more robust one. I don't know that they needed the big one, which I think it would be nice now at this point to have a big one, but they're really expensive.
Yeah,
But the
they
way
each
that
had to pay $975 for this one.
yeah, but that's nothing.
Right.
So I think that the way it ended up ultimately coming about was much more reasonable in terms of timing and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it went bad. I think people were asking too about her attorney contesting it. Yeah, I think it's pretty terrible for her. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's probably really bad. It's probably really bad. And here's the thing, like, you guys think about this. When she came online after that and was like, he's so big, he's like a teenager now, right?
Right.
Imagine that was her response hours later. Imagine like her like look on her face when he went into the room. Like
Right.
just think about that. You haven't seen your own kid in 4 months. The first time you see him is when you're being evaluated and you see how big he is, how much he's changed. He doesn't want to come to you. You don't know what you're going to experience. The evaluator's looking at all of that, how you handle all of that, how you address it, deal with it, the way you approach it. But the likelihood that she was also equally, if not more, surprised when Baby W was brought into the room, is high. And an evaluator's like, wow, that's a problem. I mean,
Right.
that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So
And this is the other thing too. Just now, again, obviously the courts don't know this, but just legitimately the night before AA, she was on her Snapchat or whatever, and she was like, "Oh my god, you guys, leave me alone! Like, you guys are so stupid. You guys act like 4 months is a big deal. 4 months is like nothing. That is like not a big deal at all. You act like me not seeing him for 4 months is like gonna make or break the case or whatever." Which is crazy because at this age, 4 months is a lifetime. And then she finally sees him, and what does she say? Oh my god, he's so huge. He's like a teenager. Yeah, because 4 months at this age is huge. That is a lot of time. Kids change. They don't. Their memory is not like like it should be. They don't know who you are. It's the whole situation to me is absolutely crazy.
Well, I think what's so enraging about this case in general, and I think it enrages a lot of people, is that you can't really tell what's rage bait and what's not. But the fact is that this is a real child with a real parent who really, you can't tell if what they're saying is real or rage bait. Because, I
Yeah,
saw those and I'm like, she's got to be messing with everybody. Like she doesn't really believe that, right? And I don't think she really does. But then at the
yeah,
same time, you don't really know because how do you know? Everything's a joke. Everything's lies. Everything is a skit. It's
right.
just crazy. It's one of
Everything's
those.
about money.
Yeah, yeah. And I will,
I
like, my opinion of 2K has changed quite significantly too. You guys all know that, okay? Because
yes.
he stopped posting the shit, and I'm like,
Mhm.
good for you, good for
Yeah,
you.
he's
And I
changed lives
appreciate it
slowly.
a lot, a lot. He's changed and
Yeah,
grown a lot. He's not filing crazy motions now all the time. He's not, I think him and his lawyer are lock and step now, whereas before I think, it was kind of like this sort of chaotic sort, like let's do this and this,
yeah,
and I'm really, I'm really impressed with him and how he's handled this. And
I am
he
too.
still does a little bit of like, talking about it, but I don't think he does it because he wants to. I think he does it because everybody wants to hear from him about it. And so he'll give a little bit, but not a lot. I'm very
Yeah,
Baby W's in a good spot for sure.
he
So
is. And it's got to be hard when again his job is to be online and then people are constantly asking or they're saying just smart ass stuff at him constantly. Eventually you snap. Or not snap,
yeah.
but eventually you respond, you say something you may be like, "Oh my god." But it's way better than what it was. John, I again, thank God we have John and Mama 2K because I can't even fathom where Baby W would be or what what type of situation he would be in if he didn't have that. And again, for the people who have not followed this case from the beginning, the reason why he did not file for full custody. He was not asking for full custody. He was not trying to take the baby away from Bree. Bree said that he was not going to be able to be in his life. He's not going to see his child anymore when he had to go home. And that's why he filed for 50-50 custody. That's how it all started. But then it went from 50 custody. He was out. That was granted. But then remember, she gave up 50% of her 50-50 on her time, only out of the 2 weeks out of the month. The baby's only months old. She would always call him and say, "Hey, can you keep him for a little bit longer?" She would have him 2 days, give him back for 3 days, get him back for a day or two, give him right back. That is how the judge came up with. And one of the notes said, "You've made it clear that 7 days is what you are able to handle with your child at this time. So that's why we're keeping it at 7 days for visitation.
But the thing about that weird note to me is that she actually hasn't proven that, because at what point has she ever shown that she
Right.
can do that? So
She
I
hasn't.
was
Yeah.
also a little bit like it. What I will tell everybody though, that comment is a jab from a judge. So even though it's like, also it's just not true because she hasn't actually kept him for
Right.
7 full days. But that is a sort of a smack in the face, or I don't know, a backhanded I don't even know, not compliment, but the judge was not. That's
Yeah.
how judges, talk smack in an order,
Mm-hmm.
is they make a comment like that. So it wasn't meant to be endearing for her.
Right.
Um,
Oh, absolutely. No, yeah, I didn't take it that way. Really quick though, for everybody that is coming in, passive aggressive comment, yes. For everyone that is coming in wondering about the update, I read the minute order. I'll read it many more times today. But basically, everything has been extended. Everything is going to stay the same, meaning Baby W's visits, or Bree can still have visits with Baby W, but they will be in Texas. So she will
well,
have to. Oh, go ahead.
Well, just to clarify really quick, so
Okay.
the hearing didn't finish today. So
Mm-hmm.
when they say it was continued to next week. And next week's hearing will be for additional argument that wasn't able to be heard today and for the court's order. So it is possible that next week they will have a more, permanent temporary order, but I don't think so, because this came to court on Bree's request to um, change custody and to have the DVRO go away. So
Yeah. So
that's not
she.
going to happen. The DVR is going to stay, and so in California you can overcome the presumption that you cannot have any custody with the DVRO, but Bree is not going to be able to overcome the presumption.
Right.
So
And someone just asked that. So no, the DVRO stays. John, I believe, I may be wrong on this. I don't believe John has yet filed to have it extended. I think that's going to happen more towards the end of the DVRO. And I would think it would be fairly easy for him to get that now that it's been broken on several occasions. Do you think?
yeah, I think he'll get it extended.
Yeah.
I do. I will say that, and if Bree is listening, I mean, she has an opportunity to stop and to, potentially not have it go away, or not have it extended rather. But I don't think she'll do that, but she could stop and change her behavior and start making changes, and I think that's what the court is hoping for. But anyway, I don't see that actually happening.
I mean, she's had all this time.
Yeah.
I literally, I just don't get it. But again, I'm a hands-on mom and a hands-on grandma. I can't, my kids are adults. I can't even fathom going 4 months and not seeing or talking to my adult children, let alone a 2-year-old.
Well,
So
she's had all this time, and she's actually gotten worse.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think,
So
I truly think once Friday is born, I think that Baby W will just not even be a thought. I think right now
yeah.
it's the maybe it's money she's earning, maybe it's her getting to see John. I don't know why she's continuing on, but I don't know. Once Thursday's here, she'll forget about Baby W.
Thursday. Yeah, and I think too, a lot of people are asking about 2K getting a restraining order against Santos, and honestly, like, it's a civil harassment restraining order. It's not a domestic violence restraining order because they were never in a relationship with each other. Um,
Santos wishes, but no, they were
I
not.
know, I agree. He probably does. I probably shouldn't have said that, but anyway, and so the bar for that is much higher. And people are also asking about about Graham and Graham, is that the name? About
Grams.
Graham's, yeah, and
Yes.
Bree. And unfortunately, I mean, I think it's a really sad situation, but I don't think that that's going to be a granted RO. So, um, you know, I don't know. I guess it depends on the judge, and it's a really sad situation. But the bar is pretty high for a civil restraining order. DVRO is much lower.
Wait, you
I mean,
cut
not
out.
really
Say the
lower,
last part.
but
You said it's a sad
yeah, it is really
situation.
sad. It is really.
Yeah.
really terrible. It's very, very bad. I'm not trying to condone. It's extremely bad, but I don't know that it rises to a level um,
Yeah.
of a restraining
It's
order. I mean,
just,
I hope it
it's just,
does. I just don't think it. I just don't think it will.
yeah. I think it's just so sick. Like, what
Yeah,
type of person do you have to be to do that? To go in to somebody's mother, change your name on your account to that person's abuser, and go in and taunt them and say, does your daughter miss me? I've been thinking about her, or whatever, all the stuff that said. Mind you, that man is in prison for what he did to her.
yeah, yeah. Really,
That's,
it's really
I
terrible.
mean, the thought process behind all of that is mind blowing. But
The problem,
if she gets that one, I think that will be another, that would also go into this case too, that she's now got another RO as well. But I think they have enough to get that done.
yeah, I don't think that two case or that W's case needs that, but
Right.
unfortunately, like you have to really like threaten somebody to where they fear for their life.
Yeah.
Um, California recognizes coercive control in relationships like marriages and oh my gosh, I can't think of the like anyway relationships, and
Uh-huh.
it doesn't have to be a marriage. I don't know why the words are escaping me right now, but anyway, and but not for like friendships, or even I wouldn't even consider that a friendship. So I just didn't see any like actual threat of like violence or threat of anything, and so I don't know. We'll see what happens. I hope that she gets it, but it could be that a judge just doesn't like what they're hearing, and so they grant it. But I don't think so.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. So okay, so you're saying on the 5th, when they go back on the 5th for the evidentiary hearing again, let me read I'm going to read the minute order again, you guys, for the newer people that just came in, just so we're all on the same page. And I'm going to ask you a couple questions. So they had the parenting plan assessment. Oh, and before I say this, really quick, you guys, I'll say dates. I never say times, and I don't want times put into the chat or even into comments on there to try to help eliminate people joining just let them have their court dates. When they got 30, 40, 50 people trying to join in, it just interrupts their court. So times, I never ever list. Okay. So I just want to put that out there before people start putting in the chat. Okay. So the parenting plan was assessed. Went over that. That was from yesterday when they did their evaluation. The following parties are present for the aforementioned proceedings: John, Bree, Taylor, Lindsay. The matter is called to hearing. John is the petitioner, Bree the respondent, and the evaluator were all sworn and they testified today. The hearing is continued as indicated below for argument and the court's ruling. Pursuant to stipulation, the hearing set for 5/20/2026 is changed to a trial readiness conference, and the evidentiary hearing is continued to May 5th. And then it has court sets the case for long cause trial from August 24th through the 28th. So the next one, May 5th, evidentiary hearing. What were you saying a little bit ago? You said something, AA, about the evidentiary hearing. So what do you think will happen there?
Oh, I believe it's just going to be continued argument and evidence from today that wasn't able to be finished, and then the court will make a ruling
And
after
that
all the evidence is presented.
and that ruling will be based off of the visitation, right?
Well, it's the request that Bree made. So Bree
Oh,
made a request. So what's before the court right now was an emergency. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm not looking at it, but it was like an emergency motion to get some custody, and I imagine parenting time, and to have the DVRO dismissed.
right.
And they had a part of the hearing about the DVRO, and we saw those findings were that she did violate them.
Mhm.
Um, and then they were going to have the judge, I believe, that day said that they weren't going to make a determination on the custody. and parenting time because they wanted to hear from the evaluator. So that's why it was, anyway, so all that happened. And then today they had some of the hearing, but they weren't able to complete it. So May 5th, I'll be able to complete it. Well, hopefully they'll complete it. I don't know. Guys, it might even go a whole nother day. And it's really hard to get. I saw people asking about this before, and I answered it a couple times, but there were a lot of comments. But it's almost impossible to get just one full day on the docket in LA and in Orange County too. It's almost impossible. And they really need like a multiple day. And so what you end up doing, which really sucks, but what you end up doing is like this piecemeal trial, and you get like a couple days here, and then a month goes by, and then you are continuing another couple days, and the judge forgets, and attorneys forget, and new stuff comes up, and it's just a big mess. But if they just said, hey, we need 3 full days, then it would be pushed out to like probably 2027, honestly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, maybe even like the middle of 2027. And you got to think like, well, yeah. I mean, it's a mess. It's really hard to get time on the docket.
Yeah.
So that's why you see people filing the emergency motions, or, they try to get rulings on pleadings sometimes and not have a hearing. And anyway, because it's hard to get time. So it may not even be finished May 5th.
Yeah. Well, Shelby said the aliens got custody. Shelby, I thought for sure it was the old lady. Y'all, if you guys have not seen Shelby Says So, if you guys remember when we were reading the transcripts of the old lady that was in there and they were trying to figure it out, Shelby is hilarious and has come up with a whole person of it's hilarious. You guys have got to see it. It gets me every time. I thought she was going to end up with custody, Shelby, but it could be the aliens. I mean, Brie looks like one. Who knows?
Oh my God! Hey,
sorry. She looks like she does look like her hairline's back. Looks like E.T. E.T. going home.
Oh my gosh. Somebody asked what my thoughts were on the non-Montenegro order. I actually think that's a good thing. I know a lot of people don't like that, and it would keep jurisdiction in California longer. But the thing is once you have a permanent order, and I heard a lot of people saying after, the judge made some comments about it, that, you can make a permanent order and then change it later on, but you really can't. It's really hard. Again, look how long this has gone on, right? And that's standard in California. And California isn't really looking about Texas or about the jurisdiction. They haven't even really raised the issue of jurisdiction either. He filed a move away, but that's different because even if the move away gets granted, which it will be, by the way, everybody, it's already been granted. They're not going to, it's a best interest standard. They're not going to move the kid back here. So that's already, anyway. When there's requests for orders on the move away, it's just because they want it like final. But anyway, it is pretty much final. So I don't see that changing. But the order that the judge wanted to do is okay. Think about it like, you guys probably don't have a lot of experience with DHS cases or CPS cases either, but CPS and DHS cases, they stay open for a really long time, and the parents are always coming back into court, right? Like, hey, how are you doing? Like, what's going on with all of this? Or think about like what you hear with, drug court. There's a lot of this, talk right now about drug court, right? They have people come in regularly. They have people test UAs regularly. And the judge is really like saying, hey, how are you doing? Like, are you doing better? Can we change things? When you get when you get a permanent order, you have different standards to meet to change those orders. Yeah, sure. Bree can file to go back to court, but she has to prove a change of circumstances. She has to prove all these other things. And I honestly don't see her ever being able to make a true argument for a change of circumstance because so many things have come out in this trial that have already been litigated that there will never be a chance if the court makes a permanent order today for that to be changed for the best interests of the child. And so what the judge is saying is like, I kind of want to just keep tabs on you guys like every 6 months, every 3 months. I don't know. It'll be whatever the judge, determines if the judge ends up doing it, which I don't think actually that she can. And I think she was questioning if she could too. I don't personally think she could, but I think it's good that a judge wants to do that instead of do a permanent order. And I know people are like, oh, W deserves permanency, but he has that right now. And you guys
Right.
have to acknowledge that. He absolutely has a permanent, stable
Yes.
situation right now. He just does. And
Yeah.
so having the parties go into court every 3 months or whatever it may be does not at all interrupt his stability in any capacity. In fact, it's better for him because you have to remember, as much as you hate or could hate or don't like, maybe hate's too strong, but think that, mom in this case is a piece of shit, which I think she is. I think we all kind of think she is. I think even her friends think she is. I think anybody who knows the situation cannot deny that there's a problem here.
Right.
Regardless if it's a skit or if it's real, whatever it is, there's a problem. But you have to be able to want her to do better and to be better for W. And the same is true for dads. I also saw that a lot too. If it was a dad, it would be over. That's not true. I think the studies have shown, the statistics, not studies, but statistics have shown that just fathers don't end up fighting like this. And you could see why, because it's crazy. I'm surprised that Brie hasn't stopped. It's
Right.
expensive, it's chaotic, it's
Yeah.
stressful, it's, all the things. And so I think more often than not, men are just like, fine, you win, and understandably, like, this is crazy, right? But the men that do fight do well, and I think
Yeah.
it's good. But anyway, all that to say, it would be good for this case for them to have that because it allows for things to change much quicker than if you were to file an actual modification, which is good for W in the event that she has truly changed.
But she has to get to that point, and listen, I don't see that happening at any,
I
anytime
don't
soon.
either.
I
I don't
listen.
either.
I still do hope and pray that maybe having this other baby, I don't know. But even with this baby, it's like she seems so disconnected. It's like all I have to do is deliver the baby. I don't do nights, I don't do mornings. You got to take care of the baby. I've said for the longest I feel like Santos's mom is going to end up with this baby. So, we will see, but she needs herself a content baby, and that's what she's used baby W for. So, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. And again, you guys, I will not be following that. Once this case is over, I am done with the whole Bree Santos thing. I will not be discussing them, following them. I don't care if they have a breakup and they have a messy court case with Baby Wednesday. I'm not doing it. I'm not following it. I'm done. Just letting you know. As a reminder, I've said that from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people keep coming in, so I just want to keep updating. Basically, sum it up. They've continued it. Everything is to stay the same. Visits will remain in Texas. So he still has, John has full 100% physical and legal custody. She can have visitation. It's just going to happen in Texas, and she's going to have to figure that out if she wants to do it. But if she couldn't do it during her first trimester, she's definitely not going to do it at the end. And then their next court date is May 5th. So who knows? And we did, or not we. I wasn't there. I'm not the judge. I wasn't there. I didn't decide nothing. Well, I decided a long time ago, but the judge agreed with me, and she has in fact broke her DVRO. So for again the stuff that she did against John with the birthday and the assaults against Santos. How crazy is that, you guys? That her assaulting Santos is affecting, in a sense, her custody case. And so, as long as that DVRO is there, she cannot have any custody of the child. She can have visitation, but not custody. Oh, AA, this was a question I had a while ago, and I was like, man, I really need AA to come in, but I hate to bug you. Well, I can't because, anyways, that's a whole nother thing. Question.
Yes.
So she has no legal custody, right? So
Yes.
she made a phone call to the doctor, to W's pediatrician, said, hi, I don't know what it goes. I'm just thinking, right? Hi, I'm his mom. I would like for him to have a referral. This is what's going on. And she says a bunch of stuff, right? I know she got in trouble for doing that, like with the judge kind of like biting down about her doing that. But can a parent that does not have custody, can they get in trouble for doing that? Like calling and trying to dig for information, requesting information, asking for information to be sent to her when she doesn't have that legal custody?
So no, she can. Well, no,
Okay.
she can't. She has parental rights. Those will not be taken away. Parental rights are the right to review, inspect, speak with, providers, school teachers, school staff, and all of that. So she can absolutely do that. What she cannot do is she cannot make those decisions. So, like, let's say 2K wants to have an evaluation, and let's say Bree does not. 2K gets to make that decision. Bree
Right.
does not. Or let's say, Bree wants to have ear tubes put in his ears or whatever, and 2K does not. 2K would make the ultimate decision. Um, 2K makes the decisions about religion, about church, about school, private, public, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
homeschool. He makes the ultimate decision. He doesn't have to consult her, he doesn't have to ask. Whereas joint legal custody, you'll usually have a primary parent, and the primary parent generally is like the decision maker, but they have to consult with the other party in joint legal custody. So she still has all rights and access to call and contact. And now those rights can be taken away, not necessarily the parental rights, but she could be restricted if she's causing trouble, right? Like if she's calling the school and is causing problems for the school, and
Yeah.
if she's doing things like that, if she's being if she's interrupting things and she's being aggressive, they can, the court can put in parameters for that. But no, she has ability to access all the things, to know when appointments are,
Yeah.
um, all of that. She can't show up because the DVRO, but
Right. Well,
yeah.
and one of the reasons why I asked is because she did that, right? She had a visit. Her mom was there. Somebody in her chat made a comment that he wasn't talking a lot. Well, he doesn't know these people to be chatting, right? Um, and so all of a sudden, someone says, "Well, do you think he has autism?" And so she just ran with it. And so she reaches out to the doctor and tries to get referrals for this, keeps talking about it, and then she filed something to try to get John in trouble for not following through with the referrals. Well, he doesn't have any of those issues, right? And so I do know that was brought up. She used that to try to go against John in court. I know that was dismissed, and the judge let her know, no, you're not, no, you can't do that. Like,
But
that's
that's
just,
the thing. But that's the thing too, is like she's being ridiculous because you cannot. I have a couple cases like this. Well, actually, in family law, I feel like we see a lot of cases like this where one parent is like, "Oh, they're not doing something that they are supposed to be doing," or "Oh, there's this problem," and the main parent isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then you end up in court, or whatever. And she it's just embarrassing for her because she just doesn't know anything about W.
yeah,
Period. She just doesn't.
right.
She could read on a piece of paper notes, but she quite literally doesn't know. So then when you go to court and you're like, "Oh, well, I saw this one thing or these two things," or even if it was 10 things, or even if it was videos that were posted that were like a minute long, whatever it is, right? She's not physically with the child. She has no clue. She's not in the doctor's appointments with them. She's not making the appointments. Hell, she probably doesn't even know if an evaluation occurred or not.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
possible one occurred, and why would she know? He doesn't have to tell her. I'm sure
Right.
that he does and that he would, but he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to ask. He doesn't have to any of that.
Yeah, it's funny
So,
because that was one of the other things that was put into this case, is that she was demanding that she be put on the parent app for his school to get the attention. She says, I don't have any information. I never know what's going on. I'm not told anything, blah, 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 blah. Well, the judge ruled, no, you're not going to be put on the parenting app for a couple reasons. A, he has legal custody. Two, you've been calling the school and basically harassing them, cussing them out because she's not getting information, etc. Um, and then there was one other thing I can't remember. Oh, and then after saying that she never gets any information, she does a Snapchat and says, "Oh my God, you guys! Every day, John sends me pictures of baby W in school, and it's reading time, and everyone else is sitting down, but baby W, he was standing up, and he always has been. All these months, he sent me these pictures, and it made me think of me. I never sat down, so I'm like, well, bitch, which one is it? Do you never get any information, you never get pictures, or you get them every single day? You know what I'm saying? So she's making these different things up to try to put into court to make John appear bad instead of just like you said in the very beginning, let's just stick with the facts as to what we have, right? There's a DVRO. He lives in Texas now. You're gonna get whatever custody is you're gonna get. It's gonna be in Texas. How are we gonna do it? And let's just nail it to that and be done with it. Or just don't see him, or who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. She makes herself look pretty bad to the court, and the court's used to hearing stuff like that. Everybody,
Yeah.
so like 2K doesn't really need to spend a whole lot of time on that. I mean, I think it's
Right.
wise to be prepared to argue that against those allegations, but it's pretty clear that she has no clue, what's going
Right.
on, what size he wears, or any of that information. So it's
Right.
just, she's not in any kind of position to be. To be having opinions even on those things. And the court does know that.
Nothing.
So it sounds
Yeah.
like they restricted. So I consider blocking access to like online apps as like a restriction on your parental rights, because I do think
Mhm.
that's a way to get information like progress reports or report cards, and things like that. And so if there's any kind of restrictions to the online apps and portals, that's a restriction. So it sounds like they are starting to restrict that based on her
Right.
behavior. So,
Yeah.
um, and it's obvious that she's just doing it for court, not because she actually wants to know what's going on.
Right.
So,
Which blows my mind, right? Because you're just wasting a bunch of money for what? Like, it just blows my mind. Really quick, I want to answer this question. Thank you, love, because I just saw it swoop by about consequences for the DVRO. We kind of talked about this earlier on, but I know people are just coming in. Basically, her consequences for the DVRO is the fact that she has no custody at all of baby W. And now that she has violated it on several occasions, it's almost, I would think, almost guaranteed that it will be extended for 5 years. And so she will not be able to have any type of custody. That doesn't mean not visitation. Thank you, Sip. But she will not be able to have custody, legal or physical custody of baby W for the next 5 years, which would mean not until he's 7, right? So I think that's a bigger and better consequence than her getting in trouble and spending a day in jail if that's what it was. And 2K's not requesting that. He's not asking for jail time. He's not taking it the legal route. They needed it for custody.
California isn't really going to put her in jail anyway.
Yeah, no, and
They don't
again,
even.
I really don't see John wanting that.
Yeah, I don't either.
He doesn't
I
want
do think that
complications.
she could be
Right.
sanctioned and attorney's fees and all that. Like, I think that's an amazing argument for attorney's fees, though. Like, hey, look, like she
Absolutely.
requested to have the DVRO dropped and for custody. And when we had that hearing, it was found that she violated the DVRO, and the custody evaluation went really, or I'm sorry, the evaluation went really bad. So she should pay for, one, his half of the evaluation, and then two, sanction and attorney's fees. I mean, I think that's a great argument for that. And I
Yeah.
think that's a better, but they'll do that all the way at the end.
Yeah. No, I agree. I can't wait for that. I know a lot of people keep asking about child support and the legal fees. I'm like, that's coming. That's at the end. We got to get through all of the rest of this stuff. And I know they just want it over. Like, everybody just, you guys, we think we're stressed out about it. Imagine 2K and Mama 2K. Like, and even Bree in a situation like I don't know where Bree's at. Like her thought process is kind of like not there, but um, they just want it over and done with. They want to be able to live their life and not have to worry about going to court. And John's the one that has to travel every single time, you know. And the one time he didn't, freaking Lindsay practically shit her pants. She was so pissed because he wasn't in person for a 15-minute
Well,
hearing.
I know you guys are gonna hate me for this, but
No, we never
really,
do.
his attorney needed to file for remote appearance, and I do think that Fonseca asserted that. I think it's much more casual for this because they have so many hearings,
Mm-hmm.
and because it's been granted before. But I've requested before for remote appearance for all future hearings relating to a certain matter, and I
Mm-hmm.
think to avoid additional costs, like his attorney could request for an order like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it is true though. They should have
For
requested.
for that one hearing. So like
Yeah.
every time she has, or every time they have a hearing, because he's in person for all of them, but this one was, I can't remember what it was, but it was like a quick, like 15-minute hearing or something. It was like something super short. Besides that, he's been in there. He's been at almost all of them, and then Bree just did one
Well, the
virtually.
one, but actually though, the one that he was appearing remotely was going to be a bigger hearing, but it got continued for some reason. I can't remember why it got continued, but
Yeah,
it was a more full hearing. And I do not I wouldn't expect for him to be there for every hearing, but I would for like the main trial. And I could see him being here for the evaluation and for that hearing. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I think it's reasonable for a court to order that he be allowed to appear remotely for all future hearings unless otherwise ordered, because it's possible that maybe a judge wants to see him in person for some reason. But yeah,
yeah. And he
and
hasn't. Oh, sorry. He hasn't complained about going to any of them. I just think if I remember correctly, the one that she was throwing a fit about was it was going to be continued. I remember reading something about that, which is why he didn't come because he had already had his ticket, or I can't remember, but it was going to be something super short, which is why I think it's because it was continued.
what I want to say, was it like the motion to compel, or it was something? No, it was, they were
It
going to have
wasn't
a
the
hearing, but she had the motion to compel, and that motion to compel hearing was after the hearing was scheduled. It was something
yeah
like, I don't
something
know,
weird.
it was something
Yeah,
like that. But yeah, their docket's all jacked up, so I don't even know. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, and also there's times where she's just shown up remotely and not filed a motion to appear remotely either. So
right.
it cuts both ways, and that's the reality of the situation is, when you make an argument like that, you have to be prepared to also show up for every single hearing,
Exactly.
even 15-minute hearings. So, and it ends up
Yeah.
costing her way more than a remote appearance. So, but
And she just herself, even though she's in LA, she just appeared remotely for one this week, I believe.
yeah, yeah.
But I
So,
don't know. Alana May says if the DVRO gets extended, then no need for a trial. Correct? No, they'll still go to trial. I'm pretty sure. Am I
well, those
right?
are separate. Well, wait, it depends on what the trial is. So in California, you can, to get an order, you have to file a request for an order, which is the RO. So, well, there's a DVRO, which is a domestic violence restraining order, and then there's a request for order RFO. And so it depends on what the August hearing is for. But my understanding is the August hearing would be the final custody, final parenting time, and the final trial. But if the issue of the DVROs is separate, it's separate. So anyway, I think he'll get it extended anyway. Um,
Yeah.
I don't think it really plays into anything really substantively, to be honest. I mean, you got you guys, like, I know there's a lot of I don't know. There's a lot of nuance, I think, but in family law, like they're not going to disrupt baby W. So like what's happening now is likely going to stay that way. Like nothing really big is going to change. And he's so little that visits aren't likely going to be in California based on her track record. But eventually they will, guys. Like eventually, if she stays in California, which I honestly don't even think she'll be able to stay in California, but whatever. Um, you know, when he turns 5, 6 years old, yeah, they'll pop him on a plane by himself. I know guys that hate that too, but that's kind of what you got to do in these situations.
Well,
So, but not right now.
if he gets it extended, it'll be at least 7, right? Because he's 2. If he does it in August to extend the 5 years, so he'll be 7 before she'll be able to. They would be able to do that, I would think, right?
Well, no,
Well,
no,
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 for her
no.
visits, you mean if they were to
Yeah,
do it in California? Yeah,
yeah.
it'll be interesting because again, you got the whole thing with Santos. At this point, the judge is still absolutely not. Santos is not allowed around, but she keeps having him around, so it'll be very interesting to see what's going to happen. Is there going to be any consequences for her to continually have Santos around Baby W when there's a court order that she can't? That will be interesting.
Those are just so hard. It's so hard. It's really
Yeah.
tough to enforce too. It's tough to prove. I know everybody like people on the internet are the best, PIs and sleuths and they put everything
Literally.
together and you guys are like it's amazing. It blows my mind when I see some of the stuff and I'm like, "Wow, like how did you put that together?" But it's really hard to translate that into evidence in court that a judge can rely on to say, "Okay, yeah, he was here."
Right.
So it's just really hard to enforce. But I also just, he really behaves pretty badly. So I really don't know. It's kind of one of those wild card things that I don't know. I think courts put it in orders a lot, put stuff like that in orders a lot, but I do think it's much more serious in this situation. And
Yeah.
yeah, he can hire a private investigator. But again, courts, especially in California, guys, courts don't like people hiring private investigators for stuff like that. I'll just tell you that. They really don't like it.
Yeah. I think John has everything that he needs. They just now have to all of the different processes, make sure all of the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. Because again, you guys remember last time when things were rolling a little too fast and whatnot, and it was literally basically just a signature, an administrative error that did not get changed to where Bree did not get served properly. Had she been served properly, that whole thing with her taking the baby to California and taking the MILF house and having the whole standoff. And the judge brings it up in every single hearing. The judge reads her for filth every single hearing about that. You were lucky that didn't happen. That better not happen again. Something horrible could have happened. If the police show up, you better turn that child over. Like the judge is wearing thin. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, what do we do about the judge? I think the judge is doing a great job. I told you guys before, judges oftentimes will give you every single opportunity that you can get to see if you're going to turn around and make decisions like, here's the rope. You said you can do it. Here's the rope. Prove to me that you can do it. Prove to me that you can be a great mom. And she has proved to the judge she is not ready at all. And the judge made a statement, something very similar to that. I thought you would have changed. You have learned absolutely nothing at this time. So at this time, whatever. I can't remember what it said. I'd have to go back over it.
Yeah, it really surprises me the hate that this judge is getting. And I just think that it's because people don't understand.
Right.
Like in California, the legal standard is joint legal custody. Like that's the standard, guys. The fact that she has zero legal custody is massive in California. Like that's just not a thing. The standard is joint legal custody. And she's lost that.
Yeah. I know a lot of people. I think too. It's when you work again. I don't work on the family law side, but I did work in the criminal side, and I would have judges too where people think they're such a terrible judge because this, and this, but they literally, at least on I said, right? They would give them every opportunity they could, made sure that they didn't leave a stone unturned. Was it frustrating because it would get put out? Yes. But then what happened is when it ended and they got the charge or whatever, there was not a lot of room for appeal because the judge could show that they gave them so many opportunities to do all of these whatever different things, right? So I don't know if it's the same in family law, but I think the judge has she's taken her time. I wish she would hurry up now, but I think she's done a good job and she's at the end of her rope with Bree, and I think I think it'll end soon. Hopefully. Please.
Yeah, I did think for sure that she was going to concede when I saw 2K's, I think 2K's live or video or something from last night saying that it's possible it'll be over today. I thought for sure that she was just going to concede. I don't see how she can actually continue, especially having a new child, even if I don't know what's going to happen with that baby actually, but I don't, I have concerns about that child, but I don't, I thought for sure she was going to concede and just be like, you know what, I'll revisit this in a couple years.
And
I
again,
seriously thought that that's what she was going to do.
yeah, I mean, you and I have talked about that so many times, and I've talked about that with the chat. I believe, I don't know Bree from Adam, right? I believe that she thinks that that would make her a bad mom if she was to walk away in a sense, but in reality, that would make you a great mom because that's the hardest decision you ever would have to do. But you're making the decision to take your time, grow, fix yourself, do whatever it is, take time with the new baby and not continue to put baby W through all of this. Him having to travel, sit with people he doesn't know for an evaluation, go to your house for just 2 hours to where you don't even spend that one-on-one bonding time where you're sitting on the floor talking. No, you guys are sitting there chucking fucking balloons at his head. And I just, all of the stuff, I don't grasp it. If she was to say, John, you know what? You're really doing a great job, and I want to thank you for that. I love Winter so much, and I want to get better, and I want to be that mom that I can be that he deserves. But I'm not in that place right now, so
She doesn't even have to
let's
say all that. I mean, that would be nice, but
right.
like she could
Let's
just,
just concede. You
yeah.
have full custody. Just send me pictures or letters periodically, and when I get better, then I want to come back. That's what would make you a great mom, Bree. Doing that, you think that that's would make you a bad mom, but no, that would make you a good mom because then you're putting baby W's best interest at heart. He is perfectly fine with his dad and his grandma. He is living a great life. He is loved on. He is catered to. He is supported mentally, physically, emotionally. Like he is well taken care of. But all this back and forth and so that's not good for a child. You're putting childhood trauma onto a child, but for what? For clicks, views, money, for a content baby, and then when the new baby comes, just forget him. Like what then, and it's so much so to where when she was complaining as to why she couldn't go see him because the Airbnbs and whatnot were too expensive. Well, one, she always feels like she has to rent the nicest of places, right? Which you don't need to do. And two, I told her when she was in my life, I said, listen, instead of doing that, because you're complaining about the cost of the Airbnb, having to buy new stuff all the time, new car seats and strollers and blah, 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 blah. I said, rent a small apartment in Texas. It's cheap out there. It's not like living in LA. You can rent an apartment for an entire month for the 1 week that you're going to be there, store all of your stuff and not have to buy it up. And her response was, or I could just rent an Airbnb. I'm not going to live in Texas because, what did she say, guys? There's nothing in Texas for me.
But what's crazy is that then I saw, like, I scrolled a couple more videos or something because I saw her say that. But then she talks about her brother moving in Texas, and then she said specific. I bet it's like somewhere closer to John. But she didn't want to make it seem because she ended up saying like I think she started to explain where he moved to, but then she kind of stopped herself anyway. And her mom lives there. Like actually, everything. Her whole entire life is actually in Texas. Like
Right, I
what do
know,
you
it blows
mean?
my mind.
And
Yeah,
the same for Santos.
yeah. And that's what I said because she was in my live when she said it, and I responded to her and I said, no, Brie, actually, you have nothing in California. At the time, she had no home. She just got an apartment for, listen, the amount of moves that she's had for in baby W's life is astronomical, which a judge is also not going to like. There's no consistency. You have no home, you have no car, you have no stable job, like not like a brick and mortar job, right? A job that she would have to go into a place. She can lay on any mattress or the back seat of a car anywhere. You don't have to just do that in California. She had no family. She has nothing in California that holds her there. What?
I
What are you talking about?
just, I'm just
Oh,
laughing at you. No, I'm
well,
not
no,
at
she
you, but
just
like,
yeah.
no,
They
sorry,
listen. They just
just a
did a video.
mattress.
They just did a video in the back seat of their house and posted it. Listen, do what you do. I don't know, but that's how they make their money. You can do that anywhere. So it blows my mind that she says, "I have nothing in Texas for me." It blows my mind because wherever my children are or my grandchildren are, that's where I need. That's where I have something for me. And again, baby W one day is going to grow up and hear all of this shit. And what he's going to see is how hard his daddy and his grandma fought for him and how much his mom continued to say, nope, if it's not my way, I'm not going to see him. If it's, I'm not going to California or Texas because there's nothing in Texas for me.
Yeah, it's really sad the amount of stuff that that kid's gonna see. Hopefully, hopefully times will have changed so much. It'll be like
I hope
MySpace or
so.
something when I was when I
Right.
was a parent. Well, I still am a parent, but when I was, had younger kids, the MySpace. I'm like, hey, listen, I can't even get my own pictures off MySpace, so I'm sure my kid's not getting those.
Right. Oh shoot, it just left my mind. What was it? Hold on, I did have a question I wanted to ask you. What were we talking about right before that with the
The stuff he's
um
gonna see online, and that Baby
before
W
that
is gonna.
oh my gosh, I have been wanting to ask you this question for so long. Oh, wait. Ask her about the San Antonio trip. Oh yeah. Did you see that the officer from the San Antonio trip came and testified?
I did. Yeah, I saw that.
And then Bree's response was, "Oh no, no, no! I was there. I just talked to a different officer. I
Yeah,
don't know
she's
who
an
it is.
idiot.
Not there. Like, come on, get it together." And so that was another ding against her. But man, what was it? Shoot, it was such a good question. It'll come to me probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll have to go live and be
Oh
like, "Oh, come
gosh.
on, be up, eight."
I know. I hate that. I hate that because yeah, I don't know. We were talking about her seeing the back seat in California or Texas.
Yeah, and then
And
no, gosh,
I don't know.
it'll come to me. We'll just keep talking. It'll come to me. Hold on, I
Okay.
gotta turn my
Okay.
AC off real fast.
Yeah. People are asking about the contesting of the PPA. I don't know if I just heard that Fonzica was contesting. I don't think anything's going to come of that. She's going to say they're biased, they're this, they're that. Whatever.
How can they be biased it's not like they know them. It's not like John picked them out.
I don't know. She'll say something. She'll say something. Oh, he was sick. He wasn't feeling good. I need another chance. I need another this. And the reality of it is the evaluators are actually looking at just how you approach the situation. So it doesn't
Yeah,
really matter if W is crying and sick. The evaluator is looking at like, okay, well, just how did you deal with that? How did you
exactly.
look stressed? Were you tense? Like, what did you do when you first saw him? What are some of the comments that you made? And whatever. So it doesn't even really matter. The
Exactly, because
contesting is just stupid. It's just whatever.
yeah,
Like,
they were what, 15 minutes apart, 15, 30 minutes apart. So if he was sick for Breeze, that means he was sick for John's.
mm-hmm.
So it's not like it was on a different day, right? Maybe if it was on a different day or something and then randomly he was sick for her, maybe. But Bree didn't get the response that she thought she was going to get. She said, because I did see the clip, she said that when grandma brought him in, he was crying, he was fussy. It's just because he was sick, and then so grandma had to hand him over, and then he was still crying and fussy, and then I gave him a sippy cup, and then he was okay, but then he was still crying. So it sounds like basically for the majority of the time he was crying and fussy when he was with her, but he doesn't know her because she hasn't seen him for 4 months, which again to her is nothing. But for a child at the age of 2, that's a lifetime. It's a lifetime. So I don't know why they were fine with it before, but now they're contesting because it didn't go the way she wanted it to go because it didn't make her look good.
I mean, I don't know. I'm sure that would be the reason why.
Only 1 month.
I'm curious if anybody ended up being able to hear the testimony today, because that's probably where it's coming from, that Fonseca contested. And I wouldn't even necessarily say it's like a true contesting. I mean, Fonseca's job is going to be to represent Bree, right? And if the evaluator has negative things to say about Bree, then Fonseca's entire role in that situation is to try to poke holes in the evaluation. And so I think people may misconstrue what she's actually doing, um, versus like just actually contesting it. I think if it was a true, like, if they were truly wanting a new evaluation, they would file for a full evaluation.
And I don't think they'd want to do that. A full even more time with him when she
A
can't like.
full evaluation is no, a full evaluation is like where they dig into your medical records, your health records, they dig into your mental health, they go to your house, they look at your house, they go
Oh, but you
to
don't want that.
yeah, no. She definitely doesn't want that.
You do
So
not want that. A couple questions here I saw. Didn't she always give him a drink as soon as she got? Yes, always a bottle on the bed, a bottle and some crackers, and then it's just like it's just like her surprise visit where he would just sleep and cry and eat crackers. Oh, and then this was important. Did we all peep that she had planned the whole sick thing out? She had got medicine beforehand, so a day or two before she got him, she was going through all the stuff that she got him, and she mentioned medicine. And everyone's like,
but
why are you getting medicine for what? Like that was such a crazy thing, unless he was sick beforehand, and we don't know. I don't know.
I think he was I think he probably was like coming down with a cold, and I'm sure that 2K probably told her. I think 2K communicates decently with her,
Yeah.
and so I would guess, I don't know this to be true, but I would guess that he probably did tell her, like, hey, he's coming down with something, just FYI, so that she would be prepared.
I feel like though, if that was the case, I mean that's very possible, but I feel like if that was the case, I feel like though he would have provided the medicine just to make sure the right
Oh,
medicine
I'm
was
sure.
given.
Yeah, I mean, but also she like halfway again, like that's the thing
Right.
with her. You just never really know. I mean, but yeah, and I think good on John that we don't actually know. I know everybody's like, "Oh, he said he wasn't sick, but then he had an ER visit." Like you guys, like he just doesn't want you guys to know what's going on with W. So it's just
Exactly. And he came out and said that because people asked, they're like, oh my God, I didn't know he's sick or whatever. And he was like, because that's not anybody's business. A
yeah.
legal custodian, or however he said it. I don't come on and tell you guys every time my son's sick because it's nobody's business. I choose to keep those things myself. No, 2K took him to the doctor to be debunk baby W was sick. I think 2K though did say that he was sick. John said he was fine with him. Yeah, I saw that he said he was fine with him, but then I also like later on he did say that he was, and
But
I can't remember.
okay, but the fine with him, okay, but you see, here's the thing is like when my kids are sick, yeah, they might be a little bit fussy, but I can handle it. They're still fine with me, right? So I
Right,
think the
exactly. Yeah,
point, but again, I don't know. This is just my interpretation of what was said. So I don't take him saying he was fine with me as, oh, he's not sick. I just think
right.
I take that as being like, well, yeah, so like kids get sick. Like they do. I just like,
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's
he did just fine with me. I was able
right.
to handle it. He wasn't crying. He wasn't fussing. He wasn't screaming with me. He handled it. He did just fine. If you're not
Hmm.
able to do that again, that's on you. And so I don't know. And again, just for people popping in, because I keep seeing the questions. So what happened? Long story short, it's extended again. Everything stays the same, and if she wants to have visits with them, they will be in Texas. So she will have to go to Texas to see him.
But it's
Oh,
continued to
oh,
next week, so she's
I
not going to go to
remember.
Texas.
I remember my question.
Oh, yes.
I knew it would come eventually. Okay, so in their February 6th court date, the very beginning of Bree's testimony, she said this is why when she filed to have the DVRO removed, right? She said, I want visits in California. So for this month, I'm willing to fly both ways. I'll fly out there and pick him up and bring him back to Texas or bring him back to California, and I'll drop him off. Then, or I think that was January. And then February and March, if I fly one way, he can fly the other way. So she's able to fly, right? Then, when the judge says, no, I'm not moving visits to California, they're going to stay in Texas. Then Bree says, so now it's 3 hours later. Then Bree says, well, I'm not going to utilize my visits because I have a high risk pregnancy and I can't travel alone and lift stuff. So I'll just do FaceTime visits. So I find that just so crazy that in the beginning of the day, she was just fine to travel. Then 3 hours later, because she didn't get what she want, then all of a sudden she wasn't. I'm pretty sure the judge saw right through that, and that's why she just said, "Fine, you'll get a 15-minute FaceTime visit a day or a week." What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think she's just, like what's that saying? Like throwing a bunch of mud at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Mm-hmm.
I just think she's just trying to push and see what she can get.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
honestly, even if the judge said, okay, then you fly there, pick him up, and then you fly back, and then you fly him back, which the judge isn't going to order that, guys. But if the judge were, I actually still don't think she would do it. I think she would probably end up staying in Texas. But
Yeah, not gonna do all that. She barely wants to fly. She'll fly anywhere else. She'll fly to Paris. She'll fly anywhere else, but Texas to see her child. No, no, not doing that. So yeah,
yeah.
I highly doubt she will see him again until, well, I don't know when, because again, the judge ruled again. Santos is not to be around the child at all. So
Well,
it
I
will
mean,
be interesting.
it's continued to next week, so it's not that
Right.
long. She's not
Yeah.
going to go, go to. And I presume it'll just be the same. I think it'll be the same until their final
Right. That's
hearing.
what I think. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like when I'm like, I think
Yeah.
you'll say the same. I think I'm going back to, or I'm thinking forward to the end at the trial. Like when everything is over, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Right? It's done. I can't see her, and it's sad. But at this point, Baby W doesn't really just doesn't know her. And if she's not willing to give that time and put in the effort to get to know him and do it in a way like everyone else said it. I don't understand how she doesn't grasp it. You haven't seen your child in 4 months. He just turned 2. Why would you choose to do it with a whole bunch of people he doesn't know? And her response was, he knows all of them. They were there. They came and saw me at the hospital. They were there through my pregnancy. Well, that means that they're not strangers to you, Bree. They're strangers to W. Put him in a smaller environment with just you and you and him do activities and talk so he can try to have a relationship with you even for 2 hours. But nope, it had to be for show. So she just threw balloons at his face. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really sad. It's sad.
It
I do
is.
hope that at some point, the visits can just be like sort of fun, like going to go hang out with a friend who lives far away.
Right.
But I don't even think I think anyway, I don't want to go down that path because I think it's really sad. Um, but
What was that with the transcripts? Hi, when will you get the transcripts? I just got the information today on how to do it, so I'll be looking into it tomorrow. They take a while, though, you guys. The transcripts take a good amount of time to come back. I'm gonna, depending on how much, because I know they are very expensive as well.
I don't know
Um,
who's paying for those, but dang, I want
well,
whatever money you got. No, I'm just
right.
kidding.
Well, so far, Lindsay has been paying for them and she's been ordering them to submit them with the evidence. So that's how we've got
Oh,
all of them. But
okay.
this one, I think the one on February 6th and this one, I think, because I don't know if those are going to come out. So we'll see. I may purchase those ones.
I do think that if it gets like if they don't settle and if it gets set out and if Bree does actually indicate that she's going to take the full 7 days in Texas, um, I'll have to remind myself. I need to look at the order again and see what the actual order is. Is it 7 full days including overnights?
Yes.
Okay, so I think that there would be reason for 2K to change that if she indicates that she's going to actually take the 7 days, because it's just going to be too traumatizing for him.
Mhm.
She needs a step up plan.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah, I think we talked about that too a while
Yeah.
ago. And I think that's what'll ultimately be ordered as a step up plan. Um, because it's just going to be too much trauma to put a kid for 7 days. But she's never once in ever once indicated that she's going to actually take the full 7 days. Even when she was out there for 7 days, she did not.
Right.
I mentioned that earlier. So,
Well,
but
did you? Oh, sorry.
no, go.
No, did you? Were you listening when I was reading the transcripts on February 6th? Her proposal was to do 1 month in California, 2 months in Texas, then 2 months in California, and 1 month in Texas. I'm like, you have lost your ever loving mind. Let's just fuck this kid's life up even more. Is she
Well, but
crazy?
did
No way.
Fonseca signed on to that?
Yeah.
Because that's against the statutes. Like in California, it's frequent and regular parenting time when possible, but no court is going to order like months away like that
No.
from either parent, especially away from like the primary parent.
Right.
That is absolutely insane.
Listen. When I read that, I I was so mad. I broke character. I was so mad. I'm like, this is man. You talk about really messing a child up. Yeah, let's do that. Like, and then she also said because the daycare or school that baby W is going to, she's like, well, we have those in California, so he can just go there. It doesn't work that way just because there's a kinder care or whatever. He doesn't go to a kinder care. I'm just saying that because those are everywhere. Um, just because he's enrolled in a kinder care here doesn't mean that he can then go elsewhere and just pop into a kinder care. It's still different, right? It's still different teachers, different schedules, different students, different rules. You can't do that to a 2-year-old. Like the thought process that goes on in those noggins of theirs is just not the best. But at least we know 2K and Mama 2K are thinking of the best of the child, and he is doing great. He is flourishing. He is growing. He is smart. His development is amazing. He is great. So that's what we have to be thankful for.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's really sad. I am seeing a lot of people saying that Fonseca is just taking her money, and I'm just gonna like I listen. I think, and then I also saw earlier people like, oh, why isn't she advising her to settle? And the reality of it is we don't know what she's advising her. And when we have clients who are difficult, um, we do advise them to settle or to,
Yeah.
follow orders or to whatever it may be. But they don't always listen. And also, Fonseca may not want it to go to trial. No attorney wants to take with Bree and her side of the case to trial.
Right.
Nobody wants to take that side of the case to trial unless you could truly rehabilitate her, and you can't. At least she doesn't have the right attorney to do that, which I think we talked about like gosh, a year ago now at this point. But anyway, um but I don't think like this isn't the attorney's fault. Like this is just the case.
Right. Exactly.
And it's, you know, and she's doing what she can with what she's got, guys. But I would never sign on to 2 months of one. I wouldn't even. So she does have some choice, right? Like you have to be able to ethically make an argument and stand behind your argument, and represent your client. So I don't know, that is a little strange, but she's not trying to just take her money. I mean, nobody, especially with the eyes that are on this case, I think, and her firm watches these lives. So I don't.
Hey.
So I really like wouldn't. I wouldn't. I mean, she looks bad, but it's a bad case. It's really not her fault.
Right.
She's doing the best she can with what
I mean,
she's got.
all
I
the
know
things. Can
y'all
you
hate
get
on her so bad about her grammar and her spelling and her all, and I get it. I get it. But I'm just saying she's doing the best she can with what she's got.
right? Literally, I say that all the time. Hey, you names. I say all the time. I'm like, can you imagine having to be the lawyer in this case when you see what's happening and what's going on, but you still have to be ethical. You still have to represent her in some way. The a few of the things that frustrate me is like when I'm reading through this stuff is sometimes I wonder. I know she watches, right, because of the stuff that comes out in some of the papers, but I'm like, does she watch Bree's stuff? Because she'll say stuff. Hey, love. She'll say stuff, and I'm like, did you watch Bree? Because that came from, or that was a response to what Bree did, said, whatever the case may be. And I'm like, or you wouldn't be saying this. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but if you would have watched Bree's stuff, because that's what Bree put out, I feel like she just trusts whatever Bree says instead of, I don't know. I just wish she would look into it a little more because it's bad.
Yeah, well, but sometimes though that kind of ignorance is bliss as an attorney because like let's
Yeah,
say Fonseca did know something um from Bree's posts. She
yeah,
cannot ethically get up there and then question her about it if she knows her client's going to lie.
right.
And so it really I get it. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like she probably doesn't want to actually know. She just wants to be able to like defend the best that she can. And the more that she does know, it's different when she hears like us talk or,
Right.
sees clips or whatever. That's different. But if she, does look into it more, then it kind of,
Yeah, that's true.
makes her defense go out the window. I do want to say too about like people thinking this is dragging out. I know it's taking forever, but it's really not. Which I know sounds crazy. Their
Yeah.
case has a lot of moving parts, and so that's naturally going to take longer. And there's a lot of things that, okay, so when you have like a DVRO inside of, sort of a custody or a divorce or whatever it may be type of case, the DVRO ends up taking precedence because the court views that as being more important to deal with. And so we've had a lot of hearings on it. It gets pushed out because the evidence is so massive, for these parties that it's piecemealed out and you get, several court dates a month. It seems like they're in
Mhm.
court all the time.
Literally,
And
yeah.
yeah. So unfortunately, it's not. It's just kind of taking its course. Most family law cases settle. The ones that go to court are like this crazy shit, that
Yeah.
like, or sometimes you'll have courts have certain parameters on parties, like if somebody's an alcoholic or something like that, then they'll say, okay, well, we'll have another hearing in 3 months and see how you're doing. It's kind of like the orders that the judge was talking about doing in this case. I don't think she can do them in this case, but anyway,
Well,
we'll
and
see.
for those of you guys that are asking why Fonseca hasn't dropped Bree, let me just say that's the last thing we want because then we're really going to have delays and it's going to take a lot longer because then a new attorney would have to. That's the last thing we want. I don't think Fonseca's at that point of wanting to. We're coming towards the end, so let's not let's not speak that into fruition. Can't even imagine how much longer this case would take then.
Yeah, it'll be crazy. I
Yeah.
think that somebody asked what I think this case is going to end. I think it's going to end. I mean, 2K is going to have sole legal custody. I don't think she'll get joint legal custody back. But I will say that I do think that that's why the court, if you hold the hearing at the end of August, the DVRO doesn't get extended, then she can try to argue for joint legal custody. So, but either way, I think 2K will always be the primary and the ultimate decision maker. And I think W is going to live in Texas. And I think until he's at least 5 or 6, I think the visits will be in Texas.
Yeah.
And then she'll have to try to change them. And yeah, I I hope it'll be a step up plan. Any plan that does happen, I think it'll be a step up plan.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's gonna take well, and then you got school. Santo, since you're here, get out your circle mat. Sit on your circle
Oh,
mat, crisscross applesauce. Listening ears only, okay? Because you may learn a thing or two. You know the drill. Um, yeah. Once the DVRO gets extended for the 5 years, right? So now we're looking out to him being 7 years old before she would ever be able to have any type of custody.
well, no, but see, the thing is it. Well, she won't ever get it back. She won't ever get it
There you
back.
go.
So if it gets extended, then it'll be granted that John has sole legal custody, and then she'll never be able to overcome the change of circumstances
Yeah. And so
to get
then,
legal custody
yeah.
back.
And so then at that point, knowing that, right? Look, before she was early in her pregnancy and she was not willing to travel to see her child. So now that she's at the end, mid towards the latter part of her pregnancy, she wasn't going to travel then. She's not going to travel now. Then the excuse is going to be, I have another baby, which is crazy because a lot of women have multiple children and they're still able to make things work. But it's not, you guys, it's just not important to Bree to be able to do it, because if it was important enough for Bree, she would do it. She would be there. She would go and see her child. She would do anything and everything she can. She always has an excuse to not see her child, and that's crazy. But listen, that's her. So the way I think I'm with AA. I've said this for the longest time. I believe John will end up with full legal physical custody. Once this baby's born, it'll be like her replacement baby, and I think baby W will be an afterthought. Now, I've never said that I don't think she doesn't love him. I do believe that Bree loves baby W. I just don't think that she was ready to be a mom or is ready to be mature enough to be able to co-parent in a healthy environment and way, and that is imperative in order to be able to continue to see your child. So it's my thoughts on that.
Yeah. Oh, this is just such a mess.
It is a big mess. Santos does have a big oak. I this whole thing, like, it blows my mind. It's just dumb stuff, right? So 2 papers ago, it was Bree literally looked like she was fighting for custody and visitation of Santos. All of her paperwork was just about how Santos had to be there. She needed to have Santos. Nothing about baby W. That didn't fly with the judge. The judge is like, no, he is not allowed around him at all. Then the next court said, thank you, Kazam. The next set of paperwork was all about Chris Different. And I'm like, did she forget who she had a baby with? Like, why do we have 20 something pieces of evidence in regards to Chris Different that has
Well,
nothing to do with the case at all?
all
It's
these
crazy.
all these side quests really annoy judges.
Mm-hmm.
They're just
Yeah.
it's just irrelevant, and this is what drags the time out, you know.
Yeah. And all of that got thrown out because it just didn't matter. I just it blows my mind. And those are some of the things though that makes me think with Lindsay, like, why would you even think that this would be like a piece of, there was one video they put in of Chris shirtless, and he had a sledgehammer because he's on a work site and he was lip syncing to a song. And it wasn't even a song of like that could have had like a message of violence or anything like that. It wasn't even a song like, thank you, love. It wasn't even a song like that. Like, why are we putting this in there? That doesn't even make any damn sense. I mean, it was a good video, don't get me wrong, the ladies loved it, but it's just there's just so much stuff that just did not make any sense. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know.
there she
I
is.
don't know.
Thank
Listen,
you.
I think she's got to work with what she's got, and that's it, you know.
Facts.
So I don't know. Maybe that's all she's. I don't know.
3, watch what video, love? Oh, you're talking about the one of Chris Different? You guys are hilarious. Listen, these ladies love to watch the Chris Different videos, okay? Can we
Oh my
ask
gosh.
about Lindsay accusing Swag of the meta glasses? Oh, did you hear about that?
Um. What? Well, I kind of did, but I don't remember. What do you?
So
Can you tell me
what
the gist?
Yeah. So what had happened was, so last court date, information had got out or whatever. Now, Lindsay said that Swag Boy Q, which is one of John's best friends, he's been in every single court case, was wearing what looked like meta glasses. And she said that she was filming. She said that there was only one other person in the courtroom, which was an older lady. They figured out who she was. She needed some information. They sent her away. There was nobody else on the in Zoom, which we know was not true because Shelby, the guy that was just in here, he was in there. He had got permission and he was able to listen to the court hearing. And so information came out about the trial right after, or not trial, but their hearing right after. So Lindsay says, I went to Swag's IG account and there he is not wearing he's not wearing glasses in there, so we know he doesn't have to wear glasses. And he had taken a picture at the courthouse before, so I know for a fact that it was Swag Boy Q that was wearing meta glasses and filmed the whole thing. Like it was like this whole huge paperwork, and she investigated it through IG, and it wasn't even him. It was Shelby because he had got permission from someone to be in there, and he was the one that reported it. And there was like this transcript that came out, and they were just, so she's trying to blame it on John's people is what she's trying to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just kind of stupid that she's trying to do that. She spent a lot of time doing that. Those are billable hours, people. Those
Right.
are billable hours.
Now,
But
yeah. Now
it's
listen, you look at
ridiculous.
Swag
It's so
Boy,
stupid.
you look at Swag's IG. I see why she wanted to spend several hours over there, but get it together. Like it just didn't make any sense at all.
Well, I think she's trying to. Well, if I were to guess as to why she spent so much time and effort on that, is because I do recall the judge getting really upset at 2K for recording something and upset at Bree for to record. The judge got mad at somebody for recording something. Actually, it was Bree, right? I don't know. One of them got reprimanded by the court for recording, and I think that some attorneys may or may not, I don't know if this is the case for Lindsay, but want to get the judge to do something on their side. So if you can make an argument that you know the judge was already upset about previously, again, then maybe you get a little, like, I don't know, some points. But she's like operating on negative points, so it doesn't really matter, and that's just a waste of money. So
yeah. It was 2K, and it was because
there you go.
They did a video, not even about the case, but they did a video in the courthouse, like by like the break area or whatever, not in the courtroom, but in the courthouse. I didn't
In
know
the hallway.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing that you could not do.
Yeah, you really can't. It's really in poor taste to do that. But because here's the thing, and I know everybody accuses me of being very anti 2K, but they should listen to the beginning of when I said I'm very proud of them. But anyway, because you have domestic violence people showing up at court all the time. You have people who are, and I realize that probably there were no other people that you could see in court, but the judge doesn't know that, right? And so, yeah, you're really not supposed to be recording inside the courthouse or even in the hallways, because, I mean, there was a time, okay, I practiced mostly out of a different county. And there was a time that we had to check our phones in, or attorneys could bring them in, but you had to check your phone in. You couldn't even bring your phone. You had to leave it in your car because they really wanted to protect people who, have no contact orders, who are getting restraining orders, or who are protected parties. And, so anyway, judges take that seriously. And the judge, I think, just kind of quickly shut it down without actually seeing the video and all of that, right? Whereas if she would have seen the video, she would have seen there was nobody else in it, but you just don't know. And then it sets like this precedence of, okay, well, fine, then record it. So I think that Fonseca was probably just trying to sort of bring that back up, and get the judge thinking negatively in that regard. But what a waste of time.
Right. Well, no, I didn't even think about that. So that's why I love to ask those questions, because it makes sense. Because at first I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, I would understand if it was in the courtroom, but that makes perfect sense if like you said, you got other people there for court business and whatnot. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I know. It is. And like I said, even just like 2 years ago, um, people going into the court could not bring their phones in my county that I
Well,
normally am out of. And yeah, attorneys could bring their phones in and computers and
interesting.
stuff. But yeah, they really try to. Also, sometimes there's kids. Like my county's courthouse does have a kid, kids coming in and out.
Yeah,
And
true. Yeah.
um, so anyway, it's a whole thing. But yeah, I don't know. Are there any other questions? And then I
Yeah.
could pop down unless you have any more
Well, no, hold on. I
questions.
want to see. What was that? That said, oh, Mods, can you ask her to check her DM and see if she can find out if it's true? Tell me about, is that to me, love? Did you send me a DM? You need me to check? Yeah, I think what I'm going to do, because I came on so early, I told you guys I would come on early today. I think what I'm going to do, I'll stay on for a few more minutes. Then I think I'm going to hop off, have dinner, and then I'll come back on, is what I'll do. So that way, I can get to everybody. Is going to do what? Let me see. I can't remember who sent that. Oh, something about not today. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So, okay. Do you guys have any other questions for AA Law Talk? Is it going to be a 50K trial? AA said it would. That's probably a low ball number. Yeah, I think by the time we're at the end, I think 2K is going to be well over $250,000 on this. Just my random ass judgment. Angie Shelby's wearing the aluminum foil. Talking crazy. Oh my god. Can you call me? We have a dilemma. Oh my god, not a dilemma. Okay. Well, I guess I will be popping off because my daughter just messaged me about a dilemma. We got a dilemma.
All right.
All right. So what I'm gonna do, guys. Oh, sorry. Did you want to say something?
No, I was just saying, all right. All
Okay,
right.
well, as always, AA, I so appreciate you coming up. Listen, you guys, we are so blessed over here that we have AA Law Talk on our side. And again, if you guys didn't hear when she came in, she's a current practicing family law attorney in California. So it's amazing that we have her expertise come up and explain everything. So that's such a blessing. So thank you again for coming up. I appreciate it. Don't be a stranger. I know you're busy and all that stuff,
But
but
I
come
do
up
listen.
whenever.
I'm lurking, you guys. I'm like
I
always here.
love
I
it.
listen to you and then I fall asleep. And then
Oh.
sometimes I get on Shelby's and then he gets real wild sometimes and I wake up out of my slumber and I'm like, whoa, listen, I love you, man, but I gotta go.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Shelby is a
Yeah.
hoot, I tell you. So
Yeah,
thank
he
you
is.
so much for
But
coming up.
all right.
All
And
right.
I will try to pop up more here when things go down.
We love it. Yeah, especially these next few weeks, months is gonna be. It sounds like we're gonna get into some interesting times. So,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right,
I'm
love.
curious. I'm interested about May 5th. I want to see what happens after
Yeah,
that. I think it's going to go poorly for her. I would like to see John turn it around and get the week reduced based on the evaluation. But anyway, whatever. That's all
I
right.
like that too. Down to 1 weekend a month, that would be perfect.
Well, I don't even know so much about one weekend. I mean, I think it needs to be a careful step up plan
Yeah,
because this is a young child with an unknown parent who has an untested range of parenting capabilities.
right.
So
And she
anyway,
can't handle the 7 days in a row. She can't. She's never been able to. So I
great.
agree with that completely. So, all right, love.
Yes.
We'll talk about
Okay.
that next time. All right,
All
love you,
right.
Benji. See you later.
I'm listening still, but I don't
All
know how to
right.
disconnect. How do I
Oh,
get
I
out of
got
here?
you. Here we go.
Okay,
Hold on.
thanks.
Okay, there we go. All right, guys. Well, man, what a day. So I know there's still thousands of people in here, but listen, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a quick break. I got to call my daughter. I need to eat. And then I'm going to come back. So I'm going to do a whole nother live so that I'll have, because I was not able to look at questions and answer anything. So give me about 30 minutes and then I will come right back on. Okay? Don't worry about Mark Morris if you guys missed it. I'm just going to take a quick break. Like I said, I'm going to have a dinner, call my daughter, See, make sure everything's okay, and then I'll be back on. So give me 30 minutes, okay? I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes. Have a good night. Bye.